Hey guys, this is HTOMario, and I'm going to be showing you a Terran against Zerg. We're going to do the opening a little on ×4, because I don't like doing the openings. They take so long, so I want to get kind of straight to part of the action and where I can help you. So, as standard, we do our 10 supply depot, 12 barracks, 13 gas, and 15 supply depot after the orbital command. I believe I get a Reaper this game. I'm like 99% sure I do. So there's my orbital command. I have my side supply depot down. He's trying to do some pressure, but I make my SCV stop on the other side of the wall, and then I go scout him with that SCV, and then use this one to make the supply depot while I make a Reaper and a Marine. So as we saw in our last video, this is just kind of a pressure, to go out with the Reaper and the bunker. So what we're scouting is that he's got a lot of Zerglings pretty early on, so I don't have to be too worried about aggression right now. And this usually suggests, with so many links that I see now, that he's going to get speed. So I have my factory going back at home with a reactor. I made that after I made the Marine, and I have a command center in my base. So I'm thinking, alright, so there's going to be a lot of Zerglings. So Widow Mines are pretty good against a lot of Zerglings, and I put my bunker at the front. And I keep my units down in my base just in case, but I think I end up supply blocking myself quite a bit. So his Zergling speed is done. Zergling speed usually finishes around 6 minutes and 10 seconds if they do it properly. 6 minutes and 12 seconds or so. Just a good timing to know. So he went straight for my bunker and didn't expect the Widow Mine, so he lost quite a bit of Zerglings, which makes it really easy for me to go down an Expo. And I put down another Widow Mine just in case. But my medevac arrived, so I'm thinking, okay, so I'm going to do some light harass. I feel pretty safe, because as far as he knows, there's a Widow Mine up from my front, so he's got to be careful. I start down another 2 factories, like I showed you in the last video, and I see these overloads going through, and I'm thinking, you know what, I could harass his mineral line and maybe get something, but I'm going to get these 2 overlords, and if you look, it really supply blocks him, so he's forced to make like 5 overlords. I swapped the add-ons, and I'm going for double tech lab reactor, and this allows me to get a lot of siege tanks out. I've been favoring a little bit more siege tanks right now, so here's a swap, and then I get double armory. I'm thinking I want to start a lot of upgrades, and I want an early third. So on this map, in order to secure your early third, you need extra siege tanks. So normally I really like to go like double reactor or something, and I'm still harassing him with these Widow Mines. If you look at the units lost tab, okay, I've lost 575, he's lost 1250, so this is really good for me. He's losing a lot of units, a lot of resources. But yeah, on some maps you can get away with an easy third to where you don't have to have as many siege tanks defending it. In this map that's not the case, so I go for double tech lab. So I'm moving out now, and I'm producing some Thors on top of my siege tanks, because I'm thinking there's a layer, it could be a Mutalisk timing. And I position my siege tanks in a way where they really defend the ramp and my third, and I start my 1-1 upgrades at Widow Mine Burrow, just in case there is some Mutalisks. I also like the Widow Mine a lot in the mid-game, because I like Widow Mine siege tank as my main pushes, so this is kind of my standard way to play, but I do need some more factories, because I'm on 6 gas now, and I'm starting a missile turret ring, just in case of like roach drops, or I can spot for Nidus rushes. And I'm also getting building armor, because my expansions are going to be planetary fortresses, and so is my third. So if he does like a heavy macro roach type thing, and I have to leave my third abandoned by attacking into my main, I want to make sure that my third doesn't just flat out die. So that's one reason to have him, and I get it in the later stages anyway. Once I'm kind of established, and I have a little bit of a Hellium pack, I try to do some harass. And you can see that I've killed 20 workers, so it's not that bad. He's only got 10 more than me, which is great for me, because I'm producing quite a few at a time now, like 4. Excuse me, I'm like doing this cast after 7 hours of lettering today. So I'm still making a few Thors, and throwing down some factories. I'm really liking Thor's in this situation because, one, I haven't quite seen a definitive move of what he has, and I've seen a lot of Zerglings and Banelings, so I'm thinking maybe he's saving up like a huge Mutalisk ball, and then Thors are also okay against Broodlords and Ultralisks, so, you know, that's one reason why you can get the Thors. The only reason it would be a problem is if he has a lot of Roaches. So, I have a lot of Widow Mines for that right now, so I'm not too heavily concerned. Go and get my 4th. I see that he has his 4th. I'm not very concerned at all with the timings. You know, I'm just gonna harass him a little bit and have my 2 upgrades on the way. I'm up to like 6 factories now, so I need some more mineral income so I can dump it into more orbitals and more helibats and stuff. So I did a little bit of a Widow Mine drop over here, and it ended up killing like 5 workers, and then I moved it away. I want him to focus on defending instead of attacking while I build up my macro, you know, and I start another starport. I want 1 reactor, 1 tech lab, and this way I can already start producing ravens a little bit at a time, and some Vikings or medevacs depending on what I need them. And I knew that there were some Zerglings there earlier, and I can see him on the minimap, so I scanned there just in case. And it was Banelings, and he was trying to morph. So I have a lot of minerals right now because of my macro is really good at this stage of the game with 4 bases against 4 bases. What we know is 4 bases. So he's coming to attack, and I drop like a bunch of command centers for more macro, so I can expand more and have more mules and scans. So in this attack, I try to burrow my Widow Mines, and they do a lot of damage. I have Vikings to take out the Corruptors and the Vipers, but he is able to get on top of me, and it's really hard to move from this specific location. So in this fight, I'm not trading very evenly, but I was able to come up ahead because I had a large amount of Thors because I thought that it was Mutalisks. So my misread, or him producing a lot of Zerglings and Banelings, actually prepared me for the attack he was doing. Now I have a lot of minerals, and gas is a bit of an issue, so I need to be able to mineral dump into replacing my army faster. So like my theory is that if I can keep mass expanding, I can keep dumping minerals in between making gas units to make myself max out more, so I can defend his remaxes even easier, and then slowly trading mineral units for harass for gas units. And you know, once I can get more gas units. So you see that I started at my second. At my second I started 3 reactors so I can produce even more Hellbats, and I already have 3 here, so I'm only having like 4 on my factories. And I put down double command center here because I want to make sure that I keep this base. If I have this base, I can position here, and then I can defend here, here, and here, and I get extra gas. So this map is really good for Mech because the extra gases are really, really easy to get, and with dual planetaries, it's really hard to break this with any kind of army. So we also get some missile turrets up. So yeah, back to the fight, or back to the game. I start my planetaries and I see him come up, so he's remaxing a bit faster than me because my reactors are just barely finishing, and I have 3-3 on the way. I'm trying to retreat to my planetary fortresses and then focus down the Ultralisks. He does accidentally end up killing one of my orbitals, which really sucks for me, but it's more than fine. So the fact that I'm able to kill an Ultralisk or 3, you know, with these Thors, makes it so it's a lot harder with the building armor to attack into these Ultras. Into this planetary fortress, and then 3 Ultralisks are not able. You need like 4 Ultralisks to outdo any damage from the healing. So I was able to get one low, and then the planetary finished it off, so I was able to defend it without having to move. So that's another thing you can know, is that, you know, 3 Ultralisks with building armor are not able to kill it if you have enough SCVs repairing it, but 4 is the limit. 4 is when they start automatically killing SCVs, because there's only so much space around the command center. I also begin air upgrades, because I know I'm going to start air tech soon, because I saw the Broodlords, but I'm also getting a lot of Thors, because he's getting a lot of Ultralisks, Zerglings, and Broodlords, so Thors are pretty good against Ultras, and then Hellbats against Zerglings. So with the extra gas on the way, I throw down a sensor tower, so I want to know if he goes like for the top base, for the bottom base, because I'm kind of in the middle. Excuse me. So now that these planetaries are done, I feel pretty confident that I can move out, and I also have a Raven production. I can start 3 Ravens at a time, so that is really good for the late stage army, because the more Broodlords he has, the more effective the Ravens are. But then, you know, the more Ravens I have, the more I can count that it's going to be Ultralisk tech, so the more Thors I can get over Vikings. So yeah, a little bit of a harass. So I send up some Widow Mines, and I start the Raven turret timing, and then high sec auto tracking. So my missile turrets can shoot farther, and then my PDDs my planetaries can shoot farther and stuff. But so over here, what's going on is that he's using the Broodlings to kill my base, because you know what you want to do as a Zerg is kind of overwhelm it, and I launch off a Seeker Missile. I don't actually have enough to take this, but a beautiful thing is that if you have Hellbats and dual planetary fortresses, the Broodlings, which are the biggest amount of damage, don't actually do that much damage, because they're never able to stay in attack, and my Thors have a lot of armor. And I use my Thors to try to shoot down or focus down these Ultras. So the Broodlings not doing too much damage, I'm able to just mass repair and kind of stay here, and you know, we're just kind of, our Hellbats are talking to the Broodlords or something. But I throw down a Seeker Missile. I want to try to get rid of these Corruptors, and that shot helped a lot with that. And I want to be able to, once the Corruptors are gone, it's easier to kill the Broodlords. So now they've died, and my Widow Mines have been attacking a little bit. So yeah, the Broodlings he's been trying to kill the Hellbats, but it actually hasn't been doing that much damage, because you know, the Broodlings were never able to reach a critical mass like he wants them to. There's a little bit of a bailing push here, so I was able to stop that by just scouting him out. So that's nice, you know, the double planetary fortress and the Hellbats really help stop the Broodlings, so I'm going in for a bit of an attack, and I'm keeping up Raven production and Viking production, because he's really dumped a lot into these Broodlords, but now he's switching heavily back into Ultralisks. So I get a little cut out of position, but I Hunter Seeker Missile the Corruptors, and they die, and I go for a Widow Mine drop over here to kind of keep him busy. You know, keep him away from my base while I'm remaxing. And I make 4 Thors and 11 Hellbats, and then a few more Ravens and Vikings. So you can wonder, okay, why isn't he getting siege tanks? Well, siege tanks are awesome, but he's doing a lot of Broodlord switches, so it's just not so good to go siege tanks against Broodlords, of course. And then Thors are much more effective against Ultralisks than anything else, especially in Blinding Cloud, which he is capable of getting and has used multiple times during this fight, so that's kind of scary. So I'd rather go for a little bit more of a mobile army, a little bit more robust army, and that would be Thor, Hellbat, Raven, Viking right now. If it was the mid game, it'd be a completely different story though, but it's the late game, and this is a much easier composition to deal with. To use to deal with what he's doing. So I didn't see a lot of Infestors, and I have now plenty of Hellbats, so I'm throwing in Widow Mines. The Widow Mines are going to be good at controlling space, killing Broodlords and Corruptors, and then they're okay against Ultralisks if you position them properly and you make sure he doesn't have detection, so you don't just flat out lose him. And I threw down some Hunter Seeker missiles on the Broodlords, so they die faster, and then the Thors are able to take out his Ultras. So it's getting to the stage of the game where I'm able to just overpower his armies, because I have a kind of robust army, and I have a lot of Ravens. You can also see that I'm resuming Hellbat production, because I lost my meat shield, which is the Hellbat, so you never want to lose it, because right now, like, Mass Zergling could kind of kill my Thors, but not with these Widow Mines, but still, you know, it's they could do a lot of damage and a lot of splash on my own army if I use the Widow Mines. And I throw down 2 more planetary fortresses up top, so I don't have to worry about defending that either. It kind of takes away all the worry, you know, unless he sends his whole army over there, which gives me time to respond. I always try to scan when I see a flock of something coming in, just to make sure I can react properly. Like maybe it's Mutalisk, maybe it has some banelings inside of it, maybe it's got like an infester and I'm not catching it right, so I gotta be able to know what's there. And if they know you're coming, it scares them away, so you kind of want to get into their head a little bit. In this situation, I think, okay, I'm attacking up top. If I drop the Widow Mines behind me, I can move over them, and he's forced to move over my Widow Mines, or he has to go the long way around. So here he moves over my Widow Mines and actually loses a lot of units and a lot of supply, all of his Zerglings, which leaves my Ultralisks my Thors to attack his Ultralisks. And we do have a little bit of BM this game. Sorry guys, I forgot this was a bit of a bad mouth by me, because it kind of irritates me when people call Terran Mech a joke when it's really easy to abuse the imbalance, and it takes a lot to, you know, make sure you don't die to various all-ins and cheeses. So I do PM him back a little bit with Mules dancing over there. You know, he's kind of like, what a joke, and I said, don't, you know, be so hard on yourself, you didn't play that badly. So, not too bad, but it's kind of all in good fun. Kind of dropping out auto turrets. I know the game is over, so yeah. Let's go ahead and watch the end of this. Little bit of bad mouthing on my part. I get really, I wouldn't say upset. I get kind of annoyed when people, when they lose, tell me, you know, what a joke, or this is stupid, or it's like, well, I mean, I can't help it how you feel about the game, and my opinion is different. So, you know, if I don't want to hear it, why just waste my time with it? Because, you know, it's kind of like crying on deaf ears. It doesn't do you any good. One of these comments he's saying is that Ultralisks are kind of like are countered by Hellbats. Ultralisks actually do a lot of damage against Hellbats with a recent buff to them. They do their full force of damage to them. So they Hellbats kind of just melt against Ultras. They dish out a little bit of damage, but they really melt kind of easy. So it's not a counter. The Ultralisks hard counter the Hellbats. Yeah. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this game, and you know, please remember to subscribe and watch all the videos.